What is up, my dudes? My name is Rane and welcome to the last episode of Making Metal inside of FL Studio that will still take place in FL. The next two episodes will be how to make a music video, and then the next one is going to be how to promote and upload your music. So if you're interested for that, subscribe or continue watching the playlist. And yeah, let's talk about mixing. Alright, well, I would say that we just go from left to right, shall we? So let's start with a clean guitar. Oh god. Okay, already starting with something that I usually don't work with. So this is going to be interesting. I know that the Emissary has a clean channel. Hell yeah. I'm imagining that that doesn't sound any good because we don't have an impulse response yet. Oh, never mind. Okay, this clean thingy works pretty well without an impulse response. Okay. That already sounds pretty damn good. Okay. Again, next we need an equalizer. We want to make sure that there's no frequencies we don't need. Actually, because this is the intro, I don't even really need that. I don't need to add a cutoff for the low frequencies because we don't really have that much going on in the bass area anyway. But just to clean it up a little bit, I'm going to add it anyway. Okay, and how about a cool effect? I don't know. For some reason, I want to do something creative with this intro. Like, for example, in the song You Only Live Once, you have this, like, chorusy, phasey effect in the intro. And something like that, I could do that. It just makes it stand out a little bit. That sounds pretty cool. Just put a chorus, standard settings. Okay. Oh, yes, please. I like that kind of detuned sound. That sounds pretty damn cool. Okay, reverb. I have a few reverb plugins. Let's just use the standard reverb for now because I know that you guys will also have that. We are talking about FL Studio after all. Wow, okay, only now I realize how quiet this guitar is. I should have been adjusting my headphones. Alright, next up is our rhythm guitar. And one thing that like immediately comes to my mind is how dark my guitar tone sounds. So let's brighten up that guitar tone, huh? Which of these high frequencies can I add or boost without it sounding like crap? Okay, let's see what that sounds like now. Alright, that sounds pretty good to me. We did talk about guitar tones in part 3 though, so I was not going to go any deeper than that. Now, the lead guitar tone. Here we actually learned something new now. Well, not particularly new, but this guitar tone doesn't need any low end. So I can definitely pull that down and that and pull this all the way over here. Actually, let me pull this up. Well, it's true, I don't need any low frequencies, like in bass area or the sub-bass area. I do want the tone to feel somewhat warm. So, like, pulling up the low mids wouldn't hurt. Next up is we have a low cut actually in this plugin by FL Studio. I'm going to use that because I don't want the low frequencies to be in the reverb. Because again, it would just mud up the mix. However, I find that there are some really nasty frequencies in here. Around here, there's like 2000 to like 5 point something. Here we go into a little bit more advanced stuff, which is a multi-band equalizer. We don't need the low, we don't need the high, I just need the mid-frequency band. At around 5K and like 3K, I believe. And now I can just, okay, this is fine. We just need to cut it off right there. So when a sound is really loud, it goes to the right. And up and down is also like a measurement of volume. Like what we see here is the input gain. But this line kind of like dictates the output gain. Alright, that doesn't sound too bad. Let's get on with the bass. Oh yeah, the bass. Honestly, I really like how the bass sounds. Maybe I could add a little bit more drive. But yeah, honestly, I'm very surprised of how good this bass sounds. Especially when you combine it with the guitar. Yeah, holy damn. The bass sounds awesome. I don't think I need to change anything here. We'll maybe get to it once we get to the drums, maybe. Okay, let's take a look at our synth. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay, I already did that. I turned down the low frequencies. Okay. Always doing that just to clean up the bass and the low frequencies. Okay, cool. Don't think I really need to do anything here. It might sound a little bit muffled, but especially later in the build-up, it gets higher. So I don't really need to do anything there. Then we have the ambience. And here I can engage the low cut. Not too much. We don't want to take away from the fullness of the sound, but I also don't want to mud up the mix. So I'm going to put this at around 80 Hertz, which should be fine. Now we get to the drums, and here things get a little bit interesting for at least some of you. Some plugins allow you to put certain instruments on a different mixer track. Apparently I already did that here. The kick is on output 2, the snare is on output 3 and stuff like that. But in order for that to work, we need to click on this little wheel and go to the processing settings and make sure that these are all set up. And now our drums should have their own mixer track. So these are our drums. This is my kick drum. Here we have the snare, and these are my toms. And then I'm going to create an extra channel for the reverb for the snare, but we'll get to that. The overheads. I don't really need to do a lot here. I'm just gonna cut off the low frequencies again because I don't want the kick drum to be overly annoying. I'm actually going to pull up the high frequencies just to make them pop more. Okay, now I just need to make sure that I'm not cutting off too much because I still want the character of the cymbals to be in there. Okay, so we have the before and after. This is before. And this is after. Sounds very, very bright. And like there's no bass. Which is good, because now we will get it back on the kick drum. And oh boy, will we get it back. Okay, so first off, equalizer. The mid frequencies always sound like cardboard. They sound boxy. So I'm gonna just obliterate those. Okay, now we can pull one of these frequency bands up. And now we can listen to what frequency sounds the coolest. Because especially in metal, we want a clicky kick. So I'm going to pull up the high frequencies here. I'm actually going to do something interesting here. I'm going to do a cutoff with a little bit of resonance so that we boost our main frequency of the bass drum, but take away everything that comes after. So I actually know that this bass drum sounds pretty good around 42 Hertz. So that's where I'm going to put it, and I'm going to take down the other low frequencies. Alright, now it's time for the good old compressor. That will help make it sound huge. Okay, that seems to be pretty good. Okay, now we can make sure that the mids are going away again. Wow, this is starting to sound really freaking powerful. Now here's a plugin that you probably don't have because it costs money. JST Clip is a clipping plugin that can make it sound huge. Hell yeah. Okay, so there's a lot of low end, and this might actually muddy up the mix again. So I'm going to use Maximus again, the multi-band compressor. I'm going to take this off. I want this to take care of the low frequency, so let's look at the bands. Everything from 20 to 200, that seems about right. Okay, so this is all good. But once we get further down here, I want this to get quiet real fast. Okay, so listen to the tail. You get the initial bass, but then you get like the very long bass tail. Can you hear how long that, you can still hear that bass? It's a little bit annoying and would muddy up the mix like hell. So with this little thingy down there, we got this to sound like this. That is pretty darn good. So something that you could do if you wanted to, Camel Crusher, the British clean, just punishes the heck out of that kick drum. I'm gonna have to turn that down in post. That was freaking loud. I probably won't use Camel Crusher on here because I already have JST clip and so much compression on there. But if you ever need your kick to be punchy as full, just know that Camel Crusher can do that. Okay, now this is too quiet. Let's turn this up again. Okay, but now that we have our punchy as hell kick, let's work on the snare a little bit. Because that just sounds meh. So let's add compressor again. Okay, that compressor works. And let's use the equalizer again to make sure that the kick drum doesn't bleed. Okay, here we can very obviously see where the snare is coming from. Okay, I'm gonna brighten up that spot, so just punches a little bit more. And then let's add some more GST clip, because that just works and sounds so goddamn good. I'm gonna put the snare a little bit to the left, actually, just to make room in the mix. Yeah, I think that sounds really cool, actually. Okay, and now I'm gonna put this on another track right here, on the insert 11. And I'm going to use the GST Skybox. And I'm gonna put the mix all the way to 100 here. Okay. Okay, cool. And now that should sound a lot huger. A lot bigger. Hell yeah. Okay, cool. Let's move on to the toms. Those also sound a little bit boxy. And if we like take away the mids again, that will make it sound dark. What I usually use here, I don't know. I'm just gonna go with the flow and pick the Camel Crusher, because that just always works with drums. Okay, I'm actually going to just copy what I did with the kick drum. I'm going to use the multiband compressor and turn off the low frequencies, like this. Okay, nice. And maybe I'm going to put that on the same reverb as the snare. And I think that works. And I'm going to put, again, GST clip on it because it makes it sound better. Hell yeah, that sounds nice. Now, if I wanted to, I could make sure that this doesn't go to the master, and this, and this, and this. And instead I would all send them to one group. And what that would do is it would allow me to further compress the drum as a group. So if, for example, I took the Camel Crusher again, which I would not do because I've already compressed this to death, then it would sound like way bigger. Actually, with those settings, that kind of works, so maybe I might. Alright, now we can actually do the same with my symphonic orchestra thingy. Put those on other channels, and now we can have them be processed on different mixing tracks. Oh wow, I didn't realize how many instruments I have here. Oh, sheesh, okay, cool. The first thing we can do on pretty much all of them is just cut off the low frequencies. Now, technically you don't have to do it, but if you want your mix to be really tight and clean, I would probably do it. And even on the like bassier instruments like the contrabass and stuff like that, I'm going to put a cutoff on there because I want my bass and the kick drum to really punch in and be the source of punch in my mix. And that will actually make sure that my limiter at the end doesn't like totally squish the sound of the song, and it will just make more room for everything else. Okay, that sounds pretty cool. Let's hear it in the mix. Before we move on to the vocals, let's show you what I meant with the kick drum and the bass. So I'm going to be putting a sidechain on the bass. Ooh, you're going to need a plugin for that. Actually, this plugin is going to be free, so don't worry about that. It's called TDR Nova. And what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that this, whatever this is turned into kick drum. And then we set up the external sidechain. That means that this is only going to pick up the kick, even though we're currently on the bass layer. So we're going to do, we turn those off. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick the frequency which our bass drum is located at. Like I said earlier, in my case, that's 42 Hertz. I'm actually going to go down to 40. And we're going to set the Q to like really high. Activate the threshold. I actually don't think I need to make this really that high because the kick drum is already very loud. Put the ratio to something around 4. The attack should be really fast. And release should be relatively fast because we do want the bass to come in quick again. So as you can see, every time the bass drum plays, that frequency is going to go down in the bass. It doesn't really affect it. It only really affects this certain frequency that we just selected, which is going to make room for our bass drum. Alright, but now that our instrumental seems to be somewhat mixed, we can move on to the vocals. Ooh.
Will the clouds wander?
Well, that's a little bit quiet. Let's put on a compressor. And I could use the standard fruity compressor, but I'm actually going to use one of the compressors that I usually use, which is Gain Reduction by Joey Sturgis again. He makes a lot of good metal plugins.
Will the clouds wander off and leave to side a clear blue sky?
And wow, those sounds are penetrating my ears right now. So I'm going to use Maximus, the multiband compressor again. We're actually going to use the low frequencies as well. We don't need the mid compressor. Okay. Yeah, that looks about right.
Will the clouds wander off?
Wow, can you do? Yeah, you can. My God, that goes up high.
Will I find the next step when the staircase is in my mind? Or will I wander in spaces that will keep me blind in time?
Okay, cool. Let's do the same with the low, because we don't want plosives to ruin the sound.
Will the clouds wander off and leave to side a clear blue sky? Or will they uncover another layer to my eye? Will I find the next step when the staircase is in my mind? Or will I wander in spaces that will keep me blind?
That gain reduction compressor is doing wonders, holy moly. Now we're gonna add some delay. I'm gonna turn that down though, because delay is really strong in this one. And here we can do a few settings. So this is what it usually sounds like, but that sounds boring. So we're gonna make this stereo by just putting the offset a little bit to the right or the left. It doesn't really matter. So that just makes it a lot more spacey. Okay, this is way too long. Let's tone this down. Yeah, let's add a cutoff. Okay, cool. Now, here we have...
Will the clouds wander off and leave to side a clear blue sky?
So here we can always hear the end of the sentence, which can be a cool effect. What you could also do is turn it even further down and have it sound like a stadium.
Will the clouds wander off and leave to side a clear blue sky?
Well, not really a stadium, but you will have this like echoey effect. And if we turn this even further down, then we get this like very roomy sounding effect.
Will the clouds wander off and leave to side a clear blue sky? Or will they uncover another layer to...
And if we turn this even further down, then we're going to get like a really small room.
Will the clouds wander off and leave to sight a clear blue sky? Or will they uncover another layer to my eye?
So you just gotta find the setting that works for you. I'm probably going to keep it down here, and maybe I will later add another EQ delay that's like a longer. But in order to have it sound like huge and big, we are obviously going to use a reverb, of course. So I'm going to use this free reverb, which is called Reverb 2. And let's listen to it.
Will the clouds wander off and leave to sight a clear blue sky? Or will they uncover another layer to my eye? Will I find the next step when...
Okay, that sounds like a lot of reverb, but let's hear it in the mix.
Will the clouds wander off and leave to sight a clear blue sky? Or will they uncover another layer to my eye? Will I find the next step when the staircase...
It's probably still a lot of reverb, so let's turn the wet down on the delay a little bit. And the same on the reverb. Let's do the doubled vocals. Honestly, I don't really have to show you how to do the doubled vocals because I just showed you how to do vocals. And as you can hear, it sounds pretty damn rad. So you basically do the same and then you just match. Okay, how loud do I want the doubles to be? How loud do I want the harmony to be? And then when you find a good setting, you just keep it there and you're good to go. I think I'm pretty much done with this. The instrumental sounds punchy as hell. The vocals already sound kind of cool. I'm excited to hear what that sounds like when the doubles and the harmonies finished. And yeah, I didn't really go really detailed into all this stuff. I'm sorry for that. I'm just not really that ahead of mixing. But considering that most of you are probably beginners just trying to write their first songs, I hope that this can like give like a little insight. If you want to have like a really detailed tutorial on how to mix, I could make that, but for the sake of this series, I just wanted to be done with this in like an hour or so, which is exactly where I'm at right now. I'm recording for 57 minutes. So I hope you enjoyed the series. I hope you were able to finish your first song. If you want to know how to make a music video for that, and more importantly, probably how to get your song out there, how to distribute it, how to promote it, and all that good stuff, then wait around for the next 2 videos. Again, thank you for watching, and I'm going to see you in the next video. And also, if you want to check out the result of this song, I'm going to leave a link in the description that will lead right to it. Or you just click on the end card. But again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!